Hey y'all, hey everybody, the day is here. It's time for the big book launch. Yes, so today we are going to talk about Not Your Everyday Tales, my latest novel. So excited, we've got a lot to talk about today. We are doing our own version of Black Friday. You know, that Black Friday that they have after Thanksgiving, that's great, but we're doing our own version of it and having our own special Black Friday for this event. Yeah, so sitting with me today is the lovely Erin. Erin is an avid reader and a budding writer. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Now that's what I like to hear. Erin has lived here in Nashville for about 20 years, but she is originally from Jacksonville, Florida, Duval. And we are so excited to have all of y'all here today. We're going to be talking about my novel that has just been released. We're going to be having a lot of fun activities, fun facts, some folklore for the season, some chills, some thrills and suspense, and some prizes. So, yeah, remember.
So remember, guys, to make sure that you wear your headphones so that you can have the absolute best listening experience as you're listening to the program.
Right. So, yes, Not Your Everyday Tales is officially available now on Amazon and Kindle at a discounted rate because spooky season is all year long. But first, a disclaimer.
Warning. During the course of this program, parts of the discussion may use mention of the topics violence, sexual assault, and or rape. We do not advocate these actions, nor do we promote this way of life. Viewer discretion is advised.
So, Erin, happy Creepmas. And I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is the weirdest thing you heard about during COVID?
So I would have to say all of the crazy animal activity. Like, I know that in my neighborhood chat and like the different chats that I'm a part of, like I was seeing a lot of animal activity, like where they were coming out and coming into the neighborhoods and just kind of encroaching, I guess, kind of reclaiming some of their territory. So, I mean, that's I think the biggest thing that I heard.
Oh my gosh. So you are so spot on. That is for sure one of the stories that I've written about is the difference in animal activity that we saw during COVID. There were a ton of crazy wildlife stories, and I wrote a story called The Killing Fields that talks about it. It's this book, The Killing Fields, is basically a rip from the headlines, and it explores some of the things that we saw during COVID and expounds on them. So it's a very interesting. It's full of suspense. There are a lot of thrills in here. So I think with that, and we have a book trailer for each story. And with that, we're going to get into our first trailer, if you would be so kind.
Absolutely. So, okay, guys. So make sure, like Jenny said, that there are going to be little trailers that you're going to be able to listen to. So make sure that you go ahead and take a moment to grab your headset so that you can be immersed into this fabulous experience. We're going to go ahead and jump right into The Killing Fields.
Dina and Chris are having strange encounters with the wildlife in their neighborhood. Normally, docile creatures are becoming bolder and dangerous. The birds and insects have fallen out of step with their normal routines. Neighbors, watch out. The claws are out.
So I loved writing this story, and I gotta be honest, most of the story was written pre-COVID.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was based on things that were actually happening in my backyard. Right. I know it's crazy. So I think that, we saw a lot of bizarre animal behavior, but like you said, they're reclaiming their territory since, people weren't on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like what was happening in your yard was kind of foreshadowing.
Right. And this was happening everywhere. I mean, there were stories about bears in the streets of Italy. Yeah. There were stories about, oh goodness.
Yeah, I think that it was just kind of every couple of weeks we were
Yeah.
hearing about the bears kind of coming into campgrounds and
Right.
sometimes being a little bit aggressive.
Right.
And so, yeah, we were hearing more of that.
Right. There were goats in Wales, coming into Wales. There were jackals in Tel Aviv. And I don't know about
no
you.
parts of that.
Yeah. If I saw a jackal, I think I'd just stay in the house until,
I don't need that.
I don't think that's a good thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like in talking about the animals, like I was thinking about that incident. Remember the thing about the elephant that came and like the elephants that came and they did the stampede and all of that good stuff. And then the one that kind of came back around and trampled the woman at the funeral.
Right.
Like, trampled the coffin at the
Yes.
funeral. That was insane. Like, I was just kind of like, okay, well, that's some crazy revenge nonsense there.
Yeah, that was personal. There was something else going on behind the scene because, for the fact that happened in the first place.
Yeah.
And then for the elephants to be like, oh, yeah, that funeral's today. I'm heading over there. Show her what I really think of her. I mean, that was rough. Yeah, for sure. So we are going to talk about where to follow me. Don't forget, follow me on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. Just look at the banner below and it'll tell you where to find me.
Yeah, guys, and be sure to follow her on TikTok. And when you do follow her on TikTok, make sure that you leave her a personal message with a book emoji so that you can be entered for a prize. She has some great prizes that you'd be eligible for.
Right. I've got 5 prizes. I've just got 5. So be sure that you sign up as quickly as you can, so you can get one of them. Okay.
Quick.
Yep. So our next story is called The Way Down. And
I'm excited about this one. So tell me, what's it about?
well, I think I'm going to let the trailer speak for itself on this, and then we'll discuss it.
That works for me.
Okay.
The kids are going to visit Aunt Marley at her new modern high-rise. Jimmy has plans for the high-rise too. Terrible plans.
Ma'am, what is going on here?
So again, this is kind of ripped from the headlines. Well, actually, I got this idea from a dream that I had, and I incorporated parts of the dream into things that were happening in everyday life and everyday news. And so this story has some terrorism in it. There is the utopia that is formed from other political things that have happened. And we have this city where people should be happy, but apparently not everybody is, especially our villain in this story, who is Billy. And Billy is setting about to make a lot of people unhappy in a very horrible and traumatic way. So it brings to light some of the things that we're seeing today. A lot of people who want to hurt innocent people unnecessarily because they're unhappy. And, we've seen that quite a bit now in the news.
Yeah, that's becoming, I think, a little bit more prevalent, I think, than any of us is comfortable with. And it's just really sad, just especially the individuals who are being directly impacted by it. And it's really hard because, it just seems like it's so much more common that these individuals are just having such a challenge and a difficult time with just not hurting other people.
Right.
So
it goes back to that old adage, give love, not hate. And we're seeing so much unhappiness and people acting on that unhappiness, even if it's their own personal unhappiness or something that's manufactured into hate and
spilling over out into society.
Exactly. So now look, I don't want y'all to get comfortable and think, oh, I know what this story is about. All of these stories are multi-layered and they take different twists and turns. So you're never too sure where this story is going to land. So don't get comfortable, people.
Well, I, for one, am ready for the next one.
All right. So we are going to move on to Waking the Dead.
Do the dead slumber in peace? Not always, especially not on this night when unwanted strangers try to invade their space. Nothing like walking over a fresh grave at midnight.
What?
I think you know what.
Did I do something?
Ma'am, I think you did.
Oh. I don't know. That whole thing gives me goosebumps. Yeah.
Like who's hanging out in the cemetery?
Well, not me.
And then hanging out at the cemetery at night.
Not me, and certainly not you.
Not me. You're absolutely right. That's pretty scary, but only for people hanging out in the cemetery at night.
Very true. Very true. This is something that has been on the rise. People are breaking into cemeteries and desecrating desecrating graves and violating headstones, spray painting headstones. And it's just crazy to me. It's like, why would you do that? You don't know this person.
Right.
And they're not thinking of the full effect of what they're doing is having, not just on the grave, but the family, the caretakers. I don't know if there's such a thing as grave insurance or headstone insurance. And, you know, the amount of money that it costs to have the grave and the headstones replaced and repaired.
I just think it's a disregard, just a blatant disregard, just discourteous.
And disrespectful, and people are doing this because of fun or out of hatred. And I'm like, hatred of what? You don't know this person. So why do this? You know, I've got a quick story. When I was a teenager, I was working at a fast food place, and there were these kids visiting from another store, and they were like, yeah, after work, we're going to go to the cemetery and hang out and drink some beers.
No, thanks.
And I was like, oh,
no, thanks.
That's interesting. No, thank you. And the cemetery was like maybe a couple of blocks away from our job, and it was huge. And the first thing that came to my mind was, how are you going to get in? And then how are you going to get out? Because it was a huge, huge cemetery. And I just was like, y'all have fun with that. And I kept thinking, well, dang, if they don't come back, I know where they are.
Well, that's a way to look at it.
I'm like, I can at least make a call. I'm not coming after you, but
that would have weirded me out.
Yeah.
Especially if something in the graveyard wanted to hang out with the living.
Oh, yes. No, I decline.
Absolutely. 100%.
Definitely.
Well, Jenny, we're moving through these tales very quickly. And I know I, for one, am excited about the next tale, Draconia.
Yes, Draconia. This is a dark tale. And so we're going to put out another discretionary warning, not for kids. So enjoy Draconia.
Warning. During the course of this program, parts of the discussion may use mention of the topics violence, sexual assault, and or rape. We do not advocate these actions, nor do we promote this way of life. Viewer discretion is advised.
Meet Daniela, as her world is turned upside down after she is viciously attacked and raped. Something inside of her has snapped. She's been whisked away by the Hawthorne Center. Here, her healing can begin. And so can her revenge.
Ma'am, where did this story come from? Like, I have to know, like, what was your thought process on this one?
Well, this story originated from the rollback of Roe versus Wade. I actually have another story that came out of this time period too that's kind of intertwined. It's going to be in my volume 2 book. But yeah, this story definitely came from the rollback of Roe versus Wade. I had a lot of strong feelings. I'm sure you had a lot of strong feelings. So many people were affected by this. And I had to write something. What really struck me about Roe versus Wade being overturned was the fact that there were, at that time, so many men of a certain background who had been accused of SA and rape. Yeah. And they were not being held responsible. They were, for all purposes, basically being let go. And there were judges that were involved who were like, yeah, tap on the wrist, get out of here. And they were doing it based on the defendant's background, their level of education. Yeah. And in some cases, the judge, well, and not in some cases, but in one case in particular, the judge knew the family. And how that even flew, I have no idea. He should not have been involved. And we've seen now more so almost every day, there's a coach or a member of the clergy or some kind of leader, whether it's scouts or, and that just makes me sick. And even in law enforcement, where they have come out as serial sex offenders, and it's just unbelievable. So I had to write this story. Again, this story has many layers to it, and don't get comfortable because you don't know where it's going. Okay.
Yeah, this story definitely, I definitely believe that this story has some depth to it, but I won't pry. I won't pry. But here we are at the last tale, Raging Roads.
Oh, yes.
I'm ready to get into this one.
Yes, Raging Roads. Here we go.
Let's meet Grace. She's just witnessed an awful road rage incident, and now she's the victim of a violent carjacking. Sadly, she's not the only victim. Will she survive the raging roads?
So, Jenny, is she going to survive?
Well, I'm going to say this. Don't sleep on Grace. Grace is an amazing character. I love her. One thing I want to mention to all of you, some of these characters that are in this book are in my previous novel, The Oaks on the Glen. So you'll see a sprinkling of people and you'll be like, I remember that name. Right. So yeah, so kind of look out for that. And this story is my favorite. I loved writing this. I love all of the stories, but this one is very special to me. So this story kind of comes from a road rage incident that turns into a kidnapping / carjacking situation that turns into something even worse. So will Grace be okay? Yeah, I think she'll be okay. Again, this is ripped from the headlines. We've seen a lot of cases of road rage happening almost daily. And I know one story that sticks out to me is that there was a nurse here in Nashville who was on her way to work.
I remember that. Yeah.
And got involved in some kind of road rage situation. And she was killed by, I'm not even sure if it was 2 men or 1 man shot and there were 2 in it. I don't know. I don't know the circumstances of what the road rage was, but it was just heartbreaking. She was just trying to get to work.
Yeah. And, remember there was also that case of the guy, this was Christmas of 2020. I'm sorry, not 2020, of 2022, where the guy was killed on Christmas Day. Yes. And I mean, that was just entirely insane. And I don't even know that whoever did that one, I don't even know if they were ever even captured.
They didn't capture. That was so terrifying because it happened in the middle of the day.
And that's insane. Yeah. I can't even imagine that there would even be very much traffic to even have an incident.
Exactly. And it's scary. We don't know who this person is, where they are. They're still on the loose. Will they do this again?
Yeah.
It's terrifying. And I mean, I know that we all, commit traffic infractions. Either we're speeding, we're driving too slow, we're zipping in and out of lanes. Maybe I am, but
I'm a slow driver.
But here's the thing. It's just one thing. And people do it to us. Somebody cuts you off or, just is not paying attention. I try not to get angry about it because I'm like, it shouldn't affect your day. And especially not to the point where you're going to chase somebody down and do bodily harm.
Right.
And just imagine, it's horrible enough to lose somebody this way during an incident of road rage, but to lose someone that you love on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. So, yeah.
It's even more terrible. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was just a lot. Let's try to change gears just a little bit. Okay. Let's talk about some prizes.
Yes. So again, please follow me on TikTok and send me a private message with a book emoji to win a prize. Let me show you these prizes. These are so cute.
Ooh.
So these are what we have to give away.
What's in them?
So this one has chocolate in it. And this one has popcorn. Yeah, these are must-haves for when you're reading. You got to have your snacks.
I definitely am going to have my snacks when I'm reading the story.
And so you shall. Yes, you shall. So, yeah. So there are a few other things that are going to be in that little prize. So you'll have some surprises along with your prize. Ooh. So, yeah, get excited.
I love extras. So now on to the next part of the launch. Now, this is where we get into some of the seasonal folklore. I think you called it Creepmas.
Yes, creep miss.
Let's get into creep miss.
Yeah, I'm going to back up just a little bit because I forgot, it's my fault, to let everybody know that Not Your Everyday Tales is on sale at a discounted rate right now. It is on sale at a discounted rate right now on Amazon and on Kindle. You can get it now for 30% off. So that's $13.99 in the paperback version and $6.99 on Kindle. So y'all better jump in and get this because this sale is not going to last forever, okay? This is, remember, our special, the Blackest of Friday sales, all right? Look at that artwork. Look, isn't that gorgeous?
It is gorgeous.
And then you can see some elements of the stories in the cover. Interesting, right? All right, so getting back to the next segment of our book launch, we're going to be talking about some folklore. So last year, was it last year or maybe it was the year before last, I did some origin stories for the Christmas holiday, and got a little dark. A little scary. A little bit. Yeah, talking about killings and child kidnappings and cannibalism and So we're going to try to keep it light today, and we're going to talk about the Yule Lads of Iceland. So shout out to Iceland. Hope everybody's doing well there in Iceland. So the Yule Lads of Iceland, there are 13 of them, and this is in the same niche as Santa Claus, except not really. There are 13 of these trolls, trolls that are running amok 13 days before Christmas in Iceland. And as trolls will do, they run amok. And they leave. Not? That's right. And they leave wonderful presents for the good little boys and girls and rotten potatoes for bad little children. Yes, hi, ma'am. Here's your rotten potato.
I'll take my rotten potato.
All right, we'll just, scrape off the bad part and use what you can. There is also a creature known as the Gryla, or maybe it's the Grilla, that comes down from the mountains on Christmas Day. And this creature boils little bad children alive. How lovely.
Not kitty stew.
Yes, kitty stew. How fun. Kitty soup. Kitty soup. And speaking of kitties, we're now going to go on to an actual kitty known as the Christmas cat. Yes. Okay. So the Christmas cat lurks around the city on Christmas Day. And the Christmas cat tends to eat anybody that's not wearing a brand new piece of clothing. Now, I don't know about you.
I could get down with that.
You could get down with that? I could
get down with that. I need to make sure that I have something brand new on.
Oh, Christmas.
So because I don't want to be eaten by the Christmas kitty. So I need to make sure that I purchase something new.
Smart. But to me, this sounds a little suspect. Sounds like a little retail espionage. To me, what do you think?
Whatever it is, I'm with it.
So y'all remember, wear something new on Christmas Day, all right? So you won't get eaten by the Christmas cat. Erin, what do you have?
So, Jenny, I'm going to tell something from the lovely Italy. Now, in Italy, there is a woman known as La Befana. Okay. Now, La Befana is an old lady or a witch, and she comes down, and for all of the good children, she lavishes them with gifts, and that's really great and all of that good stuff. Now, La Befana loves wine. So the parents typically will leave out glasses of wine or little small plates of food for her. Yes, little plates of food for her. And then for any of the naughty little kids, now they don't get gifts, but what they do get is a lump of coal or some onions and garlic. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's not all bad because that'll save me a trip to the grocery store. So I might be a little bit bad right before the holidays so that I can save on my grocery shopping trip. Naughty
for a cause. Huh?
Naughty for a cause. Now, the remaining part of the story about La Befana is she actually had an interaction with the three wise men. What? So as the story would have it, the three wise men ran into her, and unlike their compadres, they actually admitted that they were lost and took the time to ask for directions.
I love it.
Now, La Befana, being the lovely and gracious hostess, not only did she provide them with directions, but she invited them to stay the night. Oh. And so they were able to stay at her home. And then in the morning, before they left, they actually invited her to accompany them on this trip because they were on their way to witness the birth of Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Now, she declined because she couldn't quite see herself running off into the wilderness with three strange men, although she did let them stay at her house. So, but we're that's neither here nor there. But she decided not to go. So, maybe missed out on one of the hugest events of a lifetime.
Yeah.
So,
wow. La Befana. I want her job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah. Free wine.
And
tapas. And small plates. Tapas. Yeah. Yes. Sign me up. Where do I apply?
I could do that.
So, hey, guys, if you ever want to check out my previous book launches, go to my website. It's booksbyjennydavis.com. You can check out the previous launches. We have drink recipes that you will love for the holidays. And we probably will have another drink recipe.
I think we need a drink recipe.
I think so too. That may be coming out sooner rather than later. And there'll be an announcement about that.
Yes, please.
Yes. So we are going to wrap this up, and just remember to follow me on TikTok. Make sure you leave me that book emoji and a message so you can get one of these prizes.
Absolutely. And guys, don't forget, make sure that you go out and grab your copy of Jenny's book, Not Your Everyday Tales, whether it's for you or for a family member or for a friend who loves suspenseful tales or tales of horror. This is the book for them. Or for you. So make sure you go out and grab your copy, $13.99 right now on sale.
Thank you. And also, I want to remind everybody as well, yes, make sure you grab a copy for yourself and for your friends, family during this wonderful holiday season, because this sale is limited time only. Of course, limited time only. So you want to get in and grab it while you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I can't believe this time flew by so quickly.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. We had a great time as usual. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being my co-host.
My pleasure. I had a great time.
Great. And I want to thank the crew. I want to thank AJ, who is our director, taskmaster, who's like, wrap it up. Okay. And Marvin, who took care of the stills of the house and the photography and the set. Miss Tavana, who is working on some things behind the scenes as always, and will probably be doing our drink recipe. If not, she'll at least be providing that recipe because we need some drinks.
We do
indeed. Miss Andrea Churchville, who did the wonderful cover for this book and for all of my books. This is fantastic. It's wonderful. I didn't imagine it would come out so wonderful. I should have known, but every time it's like, oh, she did this. And so
it's getting better each time.
I mean, yeah. And then Miss Jessica with
Elegant Einstein.
Yes, Elegant Einstein. I'm sorry, Elegant Einstein, who did our snacks. I mean, this is just so gorgeous.
It is.
And I was so surprised at how this came out. Oops, it's flopping. But thank you so much, Jessica. I really appreciate it. Y'all look her up if you want some specialty party items or giveaways. She's wonderful. And then, of course, to my sister, Lisa. Y'all have met her before in previous book launches. If you haven't, go back and take a look at the previous book launches. Are as entertaining as this one, I promise you. And don't forget to get the book because it's Christmas time. I'm sorry, it's Creepmas time.
Creepmas.
Yes, and we all could use a little suspense and chills and thrills and scare. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great Creepmas.
For cucumber water.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.